I realize that there are about 1 billion recommendations on the internet when it comes to food and diet and weight loss and nutrition. It just doesn't have to be that complicated. That's my goal with this page, is to simplify nutrition, simplify weight loss into strategies that simply work for most people. Thanks for being here. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through a food review, a plate. I had a client sent me a picture of a plate that she had for breakfast this morning, and we walked through some improvements that she could make. I'm a nutrition coach, and I don't have all of my clients start with tracking. Some people I have start by just sending me pictures of their food, and then we use that as a learning opportunity. So if you watched my video last week where I took you through an actual client check-in, and if you haven't, go check it out, it's awesome. I'm biased, and still go watch it. I had this idea to really do more experiences that are similar to what a client experiences when they're doing coaching. And one of those is actually looking at our plates and breaking them down and saying, what do we have on this plate that really supports our goals? Or what changes could we make to help create a plate that's gonna support your goals, whatever they are? So let's take a look. All right, so this was a plate of breakfast, and she sent me this, and we looked at it together and we broke down, like, we have some opportunities on this plate and what looks really good. All right, now before we dive into this, one thing that you can do if you're wanting to build a macro friendly plate without tracking in a tracker or tracking macros is to simply ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, what do I have on my plate for protein? What do you have on your plate for protein, and is it enough? 2 eggs is not enough protein. A 3-ounce serving, a tiny little piece of chicken, is not enough protein. We need more than that. Think this, a little bit more than I probably think I need, and you're gonna be in the ballpark, all right? The second question is, what do I have on my plate for carbohydrates, AKA energy? We're gonna talk more about that here in just a second. The third question is, what do I have on my plate for fat? Your body loves all 3 of those macronutrients, and more optimally, your body loves to get all of them together at the same time. That's how our systems really flourish. If you take each of your meals through those 3 questions and you make sure that you have each of those, you're gonna be creating these beautifully balanced plates without even having to track your macros. And so let's ask ourselves these questions with this plate of food that we have here. All right. So let's start with protein. What do we have on our plate in the way of protein? Now she's got 2 eggs, right? Most of us kind of have eggs as a protein source, and they are. They're also a fat source, which we're going to talk about in a second. Now, 1 egg only has about 7 grams of protein. So she's got about 14 grams of protein with her 2 eggs here, which is good. We need more though, okay? Now, she added some Greek yogurt to this because she's learned that that's not enough. So probably with the combination of those 2 things, she's got about 30 to 35 grams of protein. Awesome, we've got that covered. Next question is, what do I have in the way of carbohydrates? Now she's got a banana on her plate. I love that, all right? So bananas are what I would call a real whole food source of carbohydrate. They come with a lot of great fiber as well. The body really knows what to do, how to process those. This is a great carbohydrate source. Now she also has this biscuit on her plate. Now the biscuit, I'm gonna make an assumption from her, I haven't heard back from her yet this morning, but that this biscuit is probably a store-bought biscuit. It probably came in one of those like cans that we open. I would call this a more, there's a fly in here. I would call this a more highly processed carbohydrate food source. Now, if we were to look at the ingredients of this probably has a lot of different kind of food additives and things that we may not want to be consuming regularly. And so I would say add it in from time to time as a special kind of item that we want to choose occasionally and in moderation. Right. Now, specific to these carbs, for her and her unique goal of weight loss, I would say that she really just needs one of those. The combination of the 2 is more carbohydrates that she needs in one meal to help meet her weight loss goals. So I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. So we've got proteins, we've got carbohydrates, maybe a little bit more carbohydrate that she needs for her particular goals. Let's talk about fat. Now, she's got fat from her eggs. Most people think of eggs as a protein source, when in reality, if you break down an egg, there's more calories from fat than there are in protein. And so they're also a sufficient fat source. So if you're putting together a meal and you have eggs on there, you've got your fats covered as well. All right. Now, she also has bacon, also primarily a fat. And she's also got this biscuit where I'm guessing if we looked at the ingredients, the second or third ingredient is probably some type of oil. So on her plate, without even really thinking about it, because this is just a standard way that we put together a plate, she's also got 3 sources of fat, when in reality, for her weight loss goals, we probably just need 1. So when we look at plates, we're asking ourselves, do we have a protein source? Do we have a carbohydrate source? Do we have a fat source? And then the amount that we need of those is really dependent on your goals. If you are someone who is trying to lose weight, you probably just need 1 of those. When we start adding in more, you may be getting to a calorie level that's not going to be as supportive for your weight loss goals. Now, if you're someone who's trying to maintain weight, just build thriving health, or maybe you have performance goals, you may indeed need more of those, all right? So if you're like, this sounds awesome, how do I know which one of those I am? Go to my website. I've put a link below. You can use my free calorie and macro calculator, and that's going to give you a really good idea of where you may fall in there. There's also a link to my meal prep guide. If any of this is like, wow, I hear this, but I don't even know where to start with these protein, carbohydrates, and fats, that's going to be a great tool. I really break it down, like, here are your proteins, here's how to cook them. Here are your carbs, here's how to cook them. Here are your fats. There's also some sample meal plans in there. Check them out. So big picture, I would say to this client, nice work on putting together this breakfast, making sure that you have all 3 macronutrients planned in there. All we needed to do with hers is just kind of dial them around a little bit to make sure that we had a amount that was supportive of her unique goals. You can do this too. I really believe as a coach, and one of my goals as a coach is that everybody can know and understand the same things about food as I do. And it just takes a little bit of trial and error. It does take that error. It does take those failures, but you learn about things along the way. It just takes reps. Follow along. I'm going to do more of these tutorial videos that really kind of align with a lot of the conversations that I have with my clients. Send me questions, put them in the comments. If you can't tell, I enjoy talking about these things. I would love to hear about your experiences too.